What's up YouTube, Mr. Llama here, and today I'm bringing you another update on Torchlight Infinite. This is a sponsorship I have happily accepted multiple times because the game is a free-to-play ARPG that will be releasing on PC and mobile, and when I say free-to-play, I mean a game that is free-to-play without predatory monetization where you pay to win in the game.
Yay!
It is completely play to win, and all storyline and endgame progression is unlockable to all players. And my favorite part about this isn't just that it avoids crazy predatory monetization, but it actually makes for a better game overall since there's no progression paywalls that are specifically designed to slow you down unless you put in money. The MTX in the game will be consisting of cosmetics for your characters, extra bag space, and pets. Purchases will be unlocked account-wide, so you don't have to worry about purchasing things like skill effects or extra bag space for each character individually, which can always be super sad to find out exists in a game after building up a single character and then wanting to switch to a new one. Beyond that, there are no daily timed events or anything to really try and force you into the game besides just being a fun ARPG that you want to pick up and play. This is how old school games were built and where they actually tried to draw you in with fun instead of using psychological tricks to prey on your mind. The game will be multi-platform and cross-progression, meaning everything gets saved to your account so you can play on the go or from the comfort of your home on any device and swap between them as much as you would like without having to start over. Or if you simply play games on PC or mobile alone, then you can stick to that device. Torchlight Infinite really gives a lot of options, and the developers have done a great job trying to allow for as much flexibility as possible for the player. Speaking of the developers, they have been super open to feedback about the game, which is always a huge positive in my books. I have played in the alphas and betas over the past few months, and everybody who has participated has been able to give their thoughts on the game and add to the discussion, which I think really shows how invested the devs are in making it an enjoyable game. Now, one piece of feedback I always give for an ARPG is to have trading between players, as I think it creates such a fun atmosphere and a whole new way to experience the game. And I'm happy to say that trading is in the game now. There won't be any tax or penalty or restrictions, it will just be straight up trading through the house in its purest form. Moving into the lore, Torchlight Infinite's story is a 200-year-in-the-future sequel to Torchlight 2, which was my favorite of the series. The developers are really trying to go back to that Torchlight 1 and 2 style of game, so if you enjoyed those, then this should be right up your alley. You don't need to know the story from the first two games to enjoy Infinite, so don't worry if you haven't played them before or if you didn't pay much attention to the lore. Now, one of the best parts about this game is that no hero really is going to be the same. There's so many different ways to mix and match skills and talents that it really feels unique each and every time that I've played. One thing I really enjoy about the game is that it does start off slow though and builds from there. Right now you're seeing a lot of endgame characters, and when you get to the endgame, heroes can be pretty dominant, but it takes a while of progression and gear hunting before that happens. I like being able to slowly build my power over time, rather than immediately starting out demolishing everything from the get-go. However, as you get into the endgame, which is pretty expansive, you'll be progressing through the Nether Realm and unlocking new areas and bosses. Your character's strength will grow, and with the large array of talents and skills, your character will also become more and more unique. Now overall, there are 6 different heroes in this game. Berserker Rihan, he is a melee. Frostfire Gemma is a spellcaster. Divine Shot Carino, an Amazon Demon Hunter style character. Spacetime Witness Yuga, another spellcaster, but this one manipulates time. Commander Moto is a summoner, and then they just announced a new character that I haven't had a chance to play yet, Oracle Thea, so I'm very interested and curious about her. Now each one has a very different playstyle, though I personally really enjoy the simplicity of just being a Frostfire mage and just pumping out tons of elemental damage. With that being said, I want to jump into the game and show you a few of the things that I think are really interesting. So overall, there are really 3 things that I would like to talk about. Now, there are a lot of systems in this game, and you can really dive into stuff like your hero traits and the pact and all of this. But I want to talk about these 3 top ones because these are kind of your crucial, simple, your basic ones, the staples that you have kind of in a majority of games and how they function, and I think it's really important to look through some of the basics. So the first one, of course, is itemization. Now, you guys know I love good itemization and fun affixes that aren't purely just 500 strength and that's it, or just 10,000 damage and whatnot, but where they have some sort of meaning and stuff as well to them. So the first item that I'd really like to point out is these boom gloves right here. I think these are really fun. You can see that they have 70 armor, 48 max life, a little bit of added physical damage, some strength, some dex, and then this really fun piece at the bottom here, which is 100% chance for attacks on knockback, to knockback targets on hit, but then the knockback direction is reversed. And the text is actually a little bit funny down there. Boom, boom, please spread your arms and wearing the gloves and wait for a hug. As you are pulling the monsters in with your knockback shots. Just kind of a funny item a little bit right there, and probably useful for many different builds if you do want to kind of drag monsters towards you rather than allowing them to keep that range. Here's an amulet right now, and you can see you do have your stats, your armor, your life, your energy shield, right? So you can kind of decide how you want to play, if you want to be going more into armor, if you want to go more into energy shield right there, if you want to go more into a life build, whatever it is. There are obviously the elemental resistances, which is something that I do really enjoy. And then even just some basic stuff, max life per 1 level, regenerates life per second right there. Just a little bit of added cold damage, erosion, lightning damage, projectile speed. These sorts of things are all really, I think, fun and important, as they do give a slightly different playstyle with every single thing that you're adding in, right? And so if you want to focus on, and you can really synergize with different things, and we can even like identify some stuff and see what we got. Okay, so we got this conflict rifle right here with just a little bit of damage, dex, and projectile speed. We can check out our crown as well. It has some life energy shield, and then also a percentage gear energy shield as well. While adding some additional fire resist. But really, with all of your gear right here, and you can see the current helm we have adds a lot of evasion there. You really get to kind of, like I say, pick and match, and as you build out your character with your skills and your talents, things are going to become even more apparent of what you are going for. So with that being said, let's jump into the skills and kind of take a look at that. So the first one you can see is I do have Lightning Shot as my main kind of skill here. Has a little DPS, and then gives you a little bit of a breakdown of what it is using right there, what it's doing. 87% weapon attack damage, and 50% of physical damage is lightning damage, right? It has that conversion. So again, if I'm building a character, I'm going to be maybe thinking, okay, if I'm really playing with Lightning Shot, I want to be adding this, physical, and then having effects that are boosting lightning damage overall, whatever it is, right? Now, there are all of these support nodes essentially for the active skill right there. So you can see that that is my active one. And then I have these added lightning damage, projectile pierce right here, mark, whatever it is. And of course, I can go in and change these and decide if I want to add something else. Greater multiple projectiles there, freeze chance, whatever it is. Now, something that I also really love is down in the shop below for when you are buying your other skills that you can then add on. You can see it tells you actually what skills, for what active skills this will support. So I actually really appreciate that, because that is something that can get really confusing. You say, can projectile pierce work with lightning shot? I'm not sure. But it gives you that check mark, and it says this works with that. This also works with fire shield, right? Or frost shield. And so you can see just from this, it kind of tells you for each of these what each of them work with. And cost conversion is an example of one that just works with any skill. And you can even see it says supports any skill, because replace mana cost from supported skills with life cost. Again, another one of these, if you're really building up your energy shield and all of this, and you want to use life as spending and whatever stuff, you can do these sorts of things, right? So really interesting. There's also some stuff if you have low mana, if you have low life, all of that. So a lot of things you can do. So here you can see are the active skills, and again, as you kind of unlock a skill slot right there. I can then add something in. Oh, okay, this is going to be just added cold damage. Nice and easy for my frost shield. Now my frost shield deals additional cold damage. And then I also, of course, have these kind of passive ones running down here. So this is just going to be like 12 mana regen per second. Something simple, but something that can be useful. And of course, you know, this is the summon a thunder spirit and whatever right here. So this is just a little spirit that'll fight for me. But those are going to be kind of your passive slots down there. So already you can see kind of the combinations that you can be getting, right? You can say, okay, so now you're looking at running this, you know, lightning damage or cold damage or whatever it is. You're looking at running low life, high mana. You're looking at running different things, big energy shield. But then additionally, you have the talent tree right here. And within the talent tree, there is even more uniqueness. And this is something that I talked about before, which is all of the uniqueness that you can really get in this game. Because again, here you can see, I can choose, okay, attack speed, maximum life, or plus additional lightning damage and minion lightning damage. And so of course I went with that and then move further down this tree right here. So this kind of just has some passive nodes essentially as well that you're choosing that are going to be dealing additional stuff, additional damage, stats, life, whatever it is. You know, this is additional projectile damage. This adds some evasion right here. There can be armor, whatever it is. But a similar idea of you have your different talent trees that you're going to be placing in, and then as you spend points within these talent trees, you get to kind of unlock these larger pieces. So you can see I'm currently using Mind Flow, again, plus 1% lightning damage for every 500 evasion, thus giving me more desire to add evasion so then I can get more lightning damage because I'm boosting that. Again, right, all of the fun stuff you can do there. But I could switch over, right? 150% of the projectile speed bonus is also applied to projectile damage. 1 maximum agility blessing stacks, 3% evasion per stack of agility blessings. So this is if I'm stacking that. And you can actually click on these as well, which is really nice. For anything that's a little confusing, they'll give you a little info box. Every stack of agility blessing grants 6% attack speed, cast speed, and movement speed. Initial maximum stacks is 4. So just kind of a fun little, you know, boost and helpful right there to see that stuff. And that's actually something that I do like. If you go into that help, you can see, oh, what is a support skill? You know, how does distribute energy, skill for sealed life mana, skill for curse, empower, trigger, talent, right? It just gives you a nice little breakdown of all the different stuff in the game so you can really go and learn. So when you have a system that just has such cool things like this, but a lot of complexity, right? A lot of different ideas and builds and unique character and skills, just everything right there. I think it's really important that you do have this whole sort of wiki, this whole sort of information readily available, the ability to go into an item or into whatever it is and just click on it and get a little bit of a basic idea, right? So even here, if you're confused on, you know, knockback, forced to move back by a short distance, that's obvious to you and me, but for some people, especially who have never played a game before or haven't played many games, haven't played ARPGs very much, they might go, I don't know what knockback is. And so giving this sort of information right here, I think is really helpful. Overall, I think this game is on a really great path, and if you want to join up, you can use the links down below to pre-register. Have a good one, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.